Electoral Commission has registered up to more than 800,000 voters. Voters have been issued to various people across the country. Now, these and emerging issues will be the subject of our discussion now on in this special edition. With me is Honorable Fatou Jau Mane, who is Honorary Advisor on Strategic Communication, Development and Emerging Social Issues to the Presidency. Fatou Jau Mane, if you know very well, is a prominent Gambian activist for human rights. For many years, she lived all her life working in her own domain in this country. So we will try to dissect as much as possible the ongoing voter registration issues around it. But before going into the subject of discussion, let me just welcome Mrs. Fatou Jau Mane. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Ibrahim. It's good to be here again.
Yes, so as of this day, we have 800,000 and more voters card issued by the IEC within a period of 5 weeks. How do you receive this in context?
I think good progress been done. I got mine like 2 weeks ago. It was done efficiently and I was really impressed, and I think they're doing very well. I'm not sure whether the allotted time, maybe a month, would be enough, but so far so good.
About 6 days to go, and now the question is whether Gambia will attain up to 1 million voters with the remaining 6 days. And if you look carefully, you realize that the first week you have more voter registration turnout. As the weeks go, it is slowing down. So what do you project towards the end?
Probably it will go up a little bit, hence it's the final few weeks, 2 weeks, final 2 weeks or final week. So, you know, by nature, you know, most people will wait until last minute to rush to register. So hopefully they will see more.
Yeah, so when it comes to the registration issue, we know that the voters card is meant for Gambians.
Yes.
And then criteria are set for who should receive the voters card and who should not. Key among them is the possession of national documents. So, however, you know, the progress around voter registration centers is complex. What are the messages that you have been crossing through around the whole scenario?
Just as I said, so far so good. I think the registration process is going very, very well, very efficiently done. I am, well, let me not say surprised, because I think in a way it's good progress. We are having positive news. That's very positive. That they've been carrying this out efficiently, but also we are hearing some altercations here and there about what's going on in these registration centers. Okay. Some news are good, some are not very encouraging.
Yeah, for the interest of my viewers, let me go into a brief introduction of you as my honorable guest tonight, because if you look at your responsibility as an honorary advisor, first is on strategic communication. So it's 3 in 1. Development is inclusive and emerging social issues. So could you quickly talk to us about when it comes to strategic communication, what does that role entails?
Communications is communications. Africa, if you ask me to be your honorary advisor on communications, you are a communications company. It means you value my independent opinion about issues maybe that are discussed here or the way you carry out certain things. That's about it, honorary.
When it comes to development, Could you talk on that too?
Yes, because since we came back into this country, that's 2017, Gambians have been engaged in all kind of developmental issues, myself included, non-profit, environmental. I've also brought in business people who are very much interested in investing here, whether it's on technology, electricity, education. So we would definitely want to encourage that.
So development entails both infrastructural development and in the business, everything.
Everything, investments, anything that develops a country, whether it's infrastructure, education, technology, electricity, name it. We will have to encourage it and support people who really want to come here and invest and do good for the country.
The third portion of your portfolio is the issue of emerging social issues. What about that one?
Emerging social issues can be anything. Like, personally, I'm very much engaged in environmental issues, environmental decay, land issues that's been going on in the Combo area, and any other social trends that's happening in the country.
Within the country, and then this is the areas through which you will formulate your advices for the president to consider.
General, but yes, this one's probably he will expect me to be talking to him about those.
Technically, you are an activist. This is what you have done your whole life. Does this new responsibility has to change your mode of operation, or this is completely a new sphere of responsibility? Do they have a bit of relationship?
Not necessarily. I've been in activism for the longest time. And this is what we foresee for our country, to make sure it's a democratic country, so that there is space for everybody. So that the country, people can engage in things that are going to benefit us all. This is what we've been hoping for, and this is what we've been fighting for. So I thank God that we have come to this stage where we are like, okay, now at least in Gambia we have democracy. You can say what you want, I can say what I want, I can talk to you, you know. It doesn't matter, you know, where we belong. And this position is an honorary position. So my views, it's an honorary position, so I'm very, not grateful, but I'm very honored. Because it's the president telling you, I value your opinion. Whether he takes it, fine. Whether he doesn't, it's okay. But to know that your opinion on certain matters matter to him, it's a plus. Because this is what we've been fighting for all these years. For each of us to have a voice and to contribute in seeing how our country progresses.
Your position as an honorary advisor to the president is not such that you will have an office in the presidency or reporting to work as a regular civil servant. So how is the mode of operation?
It's honorary. I give my advice when I want to. If I want to see him, I will see him. If I have points to make across, I'll make points across.
So, and the president is obliged to take all the advices that comes from you?
Oh, no, not necessarily. If he likes, he listens to it. If he doesn't, you know, that's fine too. But
okay, the Fatu we knew in the previous moments, like in the past government, and the Fatu of this moment is a bit different. Fatu was the first female journalist at the Daily Observer, and then activism grew up from there. So this is a very much Iron Lady, if I have to quote. So it seems to be a bit of easing down of the method of activism now. What is the transition like?
It's tough. Probably people don't realize it. We've been in tough activism for 22 years. It's good that sometimes you wind down, slow down and reflect on your experience and see where to move forward from there.
Even in the First Republic, you were tough under President Jawara, late President Jawara, but over a time you have a bit of regret. You thought, okay, it is high time to slow down. So could you quickly just speak on that one?
Jawara's time, we were very, very young. Some of us never even voted. Then we were in journalism. But the problems up to today, they're the same. We worried about jobs, our education, opportunities, development. But Jawara, in mind and in wisdom, was ahead of us. Because then every issue that we had, every problem, we were thinking, he's not doing anything. But as we get older and we get into other eras, after Jawara, Jammeh, and now Barrow, and then looking back, I would have been,
some appreciation of the history.
Appreciation of the history, the monumental responsibility on his shoulders that we have no clue about. But reflecting on that, now you see we are all respecting his stance. Now we are feeling, knowing, this is probably that he was going through, and he carried it very well, gracefully, and we're very grateful and happy that he lived very long, so he can look at us and see, I told you so. You guys didn't know.
So since you returned back to Gambia from the U.S. From asylum, the current government has offered you many jobs, and then you finally end up accepting the honorary responsibility. What is the difference in the choice making?
You see, after Jammeh, when we got here, the government started as a coalition, and it didn't go very, very well. I was also studying the situation, and to be honest, we were tired. We were tired. 22 years of activism. At some point, we were tired. We were thinking, now we have a new democratic dispensation. It's fragile, it's new. Let's give it space, and let's see how we go from there.
Yeah, going through some of your publication in your social media, you really said that you needed to give the new dispensation a break. You don't need to instigate the newfound democracy. So it keeps you more patient in talking about issues.
Yes.
So why do you think talking will bring trouble?
Not necessarily trouble. To be honest, just as I said, we need to wind down and give it space to see how it develops. I'm not saying talking will create trouble, but you don't want to add to the chaos that's already created. Even our politicians need a breathing space to see how to, carry on. So that's what I meant. Because I know if I'm going to write something, at the end of the day, probably, on reflection, it might be a wrong take. So we were just taking a break.
Yeah, now it is election year, and few months to December, when Gambians will have to decide as to who is the next president or who is the new president. Registration is going on. This is the 5th week, and so far 800,000 and more has registered. So there are issues in various registration centers here and there over who should receive the voter's card. You publish on your social media that it is high time that the president consider offering citizenship to non-Gambians who have lived in the country for some time. Can you break that down?
Yes. I said it, I wrote it, and I meant it, and I'm going to tell him. I've known other nationalities from different African countries who have been living here for the longest time. We have some from Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Freetown, Dakar, Casamance, all over. And they've been here for the longest time. At least this is a new democracy. I think they deserve to have citizenship. Like everywhere in the world, if you travel there after 10 years, 15 years, we all struggle to fit in. We all have our stories to carry. We have burdens, we have hopes. Our people back here are worried for us because they want us to live in other countries peacefully and law-abiding citizens. We work hard to improve whichever Western country we happen to be in. It's the same as here. Those Africans who are living here, it's about time. Whether it is Barrow or any other president, if another president comes, I will reiterate the same. It's about time that they are considered as citizens of this country with their families.
There are various means through which somebody can attain citizenship in this country, according to the Constitution, by birth, by descent, by naturalization and marriage and others. So in the context of your call for citizenship for other sub-regional citizens, which approach do you think should be taken?
That depends.
Yes, based on the Constitution, right?
Yes, that should be based on the Constitution. All these criteria that you mentioned, they qualify most of these nationalities to become citizens. If I advise Barrow to give citizenship to other nationalities, I'm not saying, Ibrahim, you just arrived today from Dakar, elections is on, bam, bang, you're Gambian. I think we will all be naive to think that way. That's not what I meant. We all go to foreign countries, we apply for legal status, so we can work, and then from there we try to be citizens so that we can benefit from the health care, so that we can also benefit from anything that's available to their citizens. We strive that, especially Gambians love to go to England, America, all this, Italy, Spain for so long, for so many years. And they all long to be citizens of that country. And I went through it and I knew how tough it is. And I've also guided a whole lot of Africans and Gambians through that path to citizenship. Why would we deny some of our fellow Africans that opportunity that they very much deserve? Because they've been here, they worked hard, they have kids here, you know, their families are here, they're working here, and they're contributing to our economy. Imagine, you know, name any, you won't go to primary school from 1 to 6 without having a Sierra Leonean teacher, Ghanaian teacher, Nigerian teacher. High school the same, college the same, private studies the same. In the local community, the fishermen, the local bread, those who make our bread, those who wash our things, majority of them. If you go to the seaside, all those guys with big baskets on their head, they're from Conakry, Bissau, Senegal, Casamance, and all on other countries. And they've been working hard to help their families and contribute to this economy. Why would we deny them that chance that we crave and you know, and hype about when it comes to the Western countries? It should have been easier because these are fellow Africans. You know?
You tend to compare two situations here, particularly that of the US and in the Gambia.
Yes.
But do you also consider the resource and development gap between the two countries? Like in the US, almost everything is in record. The system is probably ahead of that of Gambia in terms of resources, GDP, distribution. So do you think Gambia can afford, flexibility in citizenship?
Well, Gambia is here and we are living and we are doing our things. So we are going to do it according to whatever resources we have and how we do our things. If it's manual, we will do it manually. Don't tell me Ibrahim has been here 15 years with his family. He cannot be a citizen because we are out of paper at the immigration department, or we couldn't investigate A, B, and C. We can't do that. You talk of America, what's the difference? America got a lot of resources. It's a bigger developed country. It's a first world. But we are the same people. We do the same work. When we go to America, you have Africans there washing dishes, working in restaurants, cleaning, taking garbage, taking out trash, all kind of menial jobs, and some who are fortunate to go to university. We have accountants and all kinds of responsibilities there. So everywhere in the world, it's not different. In America, wherever you go, for example, if you go to New York, there are parts of New York where majority of people there, they are originally from Italy. All this pizza you are hearing from America, it's not an American dish or food or bread. It's coming from Italy. It's introduced in America by Italians. It's the same. If you go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, originally those people living there, originally they are coming from Sweden, Norway, and Finland. They've been there in the 1800s. There was famine going on, and they came there to look for greener pastures. If you see them, you can tell their connection. They look like exactly like Scandinavians. Originally, they're from there. Every city that you go into America, you know, anybody living there, working there, calling themselves Americans, they're from somewhere. Their grandfathers came. Donald Trump, the past president, his grandfather came. His wife, you can hear her speak. She doesn't speak better English than you and I. She is naturalized not long ago. You know, so whether the country has resources or not, if our constitution says after 10 years, after 7 years, after 5 years, please, you should consider and see who do I give citizenship to. The harassment about the citizenship thing that's going on in our country against other nationalities is wrong. You know, especially coming from Gambians who have traveled, they know how difficult travel is. They know how difficult it is to be an immigrant. If you're here, your brother is telling you, I'm trying to go back where you won't sleep until you hear, oh, now I'm in Italy. Yes, you're in Italy, and so what? You need papers to work, you know? And they will look at you and be like, we're not sure. And you go through a process. But after 5, 10 years, you'll be like, oh, Italians, give my brother, he just wants to work and bring some money. So why not here? You know, 2019, remittances that come into this country, it's like 275 million into Gambia from Spain, Italy, England, America. Our people work there and send that money here. You can see private, individual, and even most of government progress that you see, it's assistance from other countries, developing countries. So this is a national progression, a process. It's all over the world. We will just have to abide by what everybody is doing.
Yeah, because citizenship comes with a cost, because such as the compulsory basic education, basic health care, considered in Gambia has in all these sectors struggling. So, I mean, opening the gate for population growth based on accordment of citizenship to non-Gambians. Do you think with the current pace and the development pace in this country, Gambia can handle that?
That's why you need it. You need more people to be legally working, to not in the shadows doing little criminal stuff. That is why you need to, you know, consider giving 100,000 nationalities, you know, their citizenship, because you don't want to encourage criminal activities. Don't tell me you're going to look at me and say, you know, Fatu, you're not from Gambia, you can't get your papers. If you live in America today, if you take your mom, after you get your papers, you apply for your mom for citizenship. Your mom and your brothers and your dad. Maybe your brothers will speak English, but your mom 9 out of 10 will not be able to speak English, or you cannot. If you look at her, you will be like, you know, she doesn't look like any American. But then you went through a process, you got her papers, and now she is going to vote like a citizen. And you know, you understand what I'm saying. So there's no excuse for any country, any country for that matter. You see.
So who do you think should take this advice? The president or the other nationalities who did not apply for the process of being citizens of the Gambia?
The president, our government, immigration department, IEC, anybody should take this up. And even people who are applying, most of them, they don't know. Even in America, you go there, Africans, if you tell them immigration writes a letter for you to come, even if you're educated, you're wondering, you're scared. So it's natural all over. You're scared, oh, are they going to deport me? What are they called? Africans want to hear from every corner, except from the U.S. Immigration Department. You know, so I empathize.
Because if the, the entitlement is there, but yet people are not going for it. Someone might have lived in the country for 15, 20 years, but they do not make any effort to really look for the citizenship.
They do. Majority do. Because nobody wants the police to be coming to your house with your family, to be harassing you and your kids and your wife, asking you, where's your paper? Every little thing, where are you from? Where's your paper? No family wants that. You want to live with your family in peace. So there should be some kind of civic education. If you're here over 10 years, and if you think you qualify for so and so, come. Some will go and inquire voluntarily, but some too would want to know, can I do this or can I not? But rather than you live there like that, some will be here 20 years, 25 years. I've seen neighbors. I've some neighbors who are coming from Guinea-Bissau. You know, I have one who even named their daughter after me. She's over 20 years old now. You know, but they're still, you can tell, they still feel that immigrant thing, you know.
Are they interested in becoming citizens of the Gambia from your assessment?
Why not? Why not? And that's not even the issue. How can you tell if someone is a citizen or is qualified or not? How can you tell? How can you go to a registration center and say, Fatu, look at you, I don't think you are from here. Who are you? Okay. You see, if the government sets up this so-called monitoring, policing, local people who are setting up this militia policing stuff at registration centers, if Barrow did it, I would be the first one who will cry foul. Dictatorship. Why is the immigration officers going to registration centers? Why is IEC going there? Oh, President Barrow now, he sent soldiers to the registration centers. You will be there to take pictures, and you will call it dictatorship. So even the government is not even thinking about that, because we know we are in a democracy. But then you will have local militia people who will take it upon themselves, go to registration centers and have the audacity, you know, and the arrogance to look at you or me and say, I'm going to see that you don't register, you're not from Gambia. How can you tell?
Why do you think the government is not sending observers to various registration centers?
Probably voting centers. When it's time to vote, if every party maybe can go, and even that, I don't think it's necessary. Just give your civic education. Meet with your party members. Government should also continue to raise awareness. We don't want any altercations at voter registration centers or voting centers. You understand?
But these certain parties, including the UDP, made it very clear that they would have their teams to monitor the registration system, that is to prevent foul play in the centers. What? Isn't this a very good reason?
No. Any party, whether it's UDP or GDC or NPP, if you decide to go, fine. But how are you going to tell if I'm a Gambian or if I am not? Number one, you don't even know the laws regarding our citizenship. you don't work for immigration department. Is it written on my forehead that I'm foreigner? I speak Wolof, I speak Mandinka. Even if I don't speak it at all, do you know whether I get my Gambian citizenship by marriage, or from my mother, or from my dad? So are you going to interview anybody that you suspect right there to see if that person is Gambian or not? This is the most arrogant thing I've seen. And these are coming from people who should know better. They've traveled outside of the country. They should know better. How are you going to tell if I meet with you at a registration center, you work for an American registration, and I'm dressed like this and I'm speaking Mandinka? How would you know if I am the immigration department? Maybe you go to the immigration department and they give you a long list. But even that, how current can that be? How unfair? That would be biased because not everybody probably is on the list is current. You cannot even go by that, oh, okay, immigration center, all of Sukuta, Ibrahima should be there, yeah, Lamin should be there, Bakari should be there, oh, now, okay, you Bakari also. Who are there to monitor that? You know, that's a height of arrogance.
What did you observe in this monitoring issue that you really are addressing here?
I'm scared. I mean, I think it's outright arrogance. Very arrogant, number one.
On the side of who?
Those who are monitoring and calling themselves, you know, they are policing the registration center.
Example, the UDP monitoring team.
All of them.
Yeah.
I don't know who goes there, whether it's UDP or NPP.
Yeah, the reason we're talking about the UDP, their party leader made this announcement before the deployment of before the beginning of the process. Even though IEC had said that no one is allowed to take personal record from the registration center, but this doesn't stop people going around.
If their leader advised that, then that's not right at all. He's a lawyer, he should know better. And I'm sure he traveled. He has relatives living all over. And you just cannot tell.
Don't you think it is helping because the suspicion that alcalos or people responsible for attestation will open the gate for foreigners to vote in Gambia's election?
No, you think if I want to go register to vote, I'll be scared because you're from UDP or NPP? I wouldn't even look at you. So the bullying is new in registration centers, and it's alarming. I don't know the audacity where it's coming from. How can you tell what leader? If I will advise you as a political leader, you know, just keep alert, make sure, actually they should all advise the president to make sure that foreign nationalities that are living here, they should make that political capital. They should be clever. They should tell the president, all foreigners who have been living here, at least for 10, 15 years, I don't know what the criteria is with the immigration, they should all be able to vote. Because we are all one Africa and we are all one Gambia. These people have been, because you are not going to say, Barrow is not going to say he has never, you know, bought fish from someone from Senegal, or someone from Senegal never made their boo-boos. Or not one of his kids have teachers who are foreigners. Likewise Dabo, likewise PDOIS, Khalifa and Sidia, likewise, you know, because we are living with these people. So I think it is not a good idea. Every political leader with vision, you know, would even encourage this.
Yeah, on Saturday when the president addressed chiefs and regional authorities of West Coast region, he described those going around registration centers as talks. Your role as talks, you know, maybe talks. So they are talk going around violating the law. That's what he insinuated.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm wondering whether part of your advisory role as a communication strategist, did you have a say in that?
Yes, we talked about that. In general, it's wrong. Even if the government initiates it. Today, if Barrow sent to every registration center, if he sent an immigration personnel, an IEC personnel, a soldier, an NPP, I would say, no, you can't do that. How can you tell? How can you tell? And it's going to be intimidation because you are the government. If people see you there, they might be fearful and they might not carry the process very well. But this is not even coming from the government where we were going to be expecting some little, these are coming from general party members who want to act like militias, going around trying to see, to find out if Bakari is really Gambian, he can register to vote, or is Lamin,
If this is the feeling from government that really these voters registration monitoring teams from parties is against the law, why is government not taking a stop or taking a stance to stop it?
They should. They should advise, immigration departments should come, Barrow should talk to them, and the government should send a strong warning. Because if Barrow sent anybody to these registration centers, you and I will be talking about dictatorship here. Why did he do that? Why can he do that? He's president, so there should be no NPP, there people there, or there should not be soldiers there because people will be scared.
But
so
those monitoring,
so the others who are doing it, they're equally, not fair. They're not doing it right.
They are not yet presidents, or they are not yet in government. So
you are not yet in government, and you are acting with such an adversity, such arrogance. Imagine if you come to power. You can look at me and tell me, Fatumani, you're not from Gambia, go where you come from. Don't you think so? Of course, it's okay to be active. It's okay to be an active political member. You should campaign, you should encourage people to vote. You should encourage all your party representatives to vote. You should, every day, you should meet with the community, advise and encourage everybody to vote. But you cannot go to a registration center, look at me and suspect, oh, I'm Fuller. I look fair in color, so I'm Fuller. Maybe I'm from Guinea. I am not. I can't even imagine it if it were me.
There are allegations that regional authorities are encouraging non-Gambians, particularly from the sub-region, to come in for the voter registration. So parties and monitoring teams are raising these alerts over and over. Don't you think something is wrong somewhere?
No. Maybe. You see, no system is perfect. No system is perfect. I know there will be few people here and there who will dare and go and tell you I'm Gambian and so and try to. Which I don't know. Where are you going to get your passport or ID? Because if you go to register, you must have some form of documentation with you. An ID card that you've been here, you live in Sukuta, you're born wherever you are from. So you think 10 people can line up from Senegal, and try to intrude into a registration process? When I went to Sukuta, one person that was leading the center, it's a UDP guy, but they were the ones doing the process with some few other, very efficient, very amicable, very professional, very quick, calmly, everybody is sitting, waiting for your turn. You cannot tell, who's going to vote for who, and that is how it is supposed to be. But then you will have some people wear a yellow T-shirt, or you wear an NPP or a Doi T-shirt, going gingerly, walking gingerly at registration centers, trying to stop people from their democratic process. What are you trying to encourage here? That is bullying. It's arrogance, and no party leader should encourage that within whether they are militants or members or whatever.
Why do you think the IEC allows this? Because the IEC is responsible for approving, observers in its process, like the voter registration and even during election. So this has been happening, and both government and IEC are not taking stiff stance against it. It means it is fine, right?
No, I don't think IEC will encourage this. IEC will not encourage it. If you and I work for IEC, we are waiting for registration process, and we see people, bullying people or trying to, who are they to check whether I'm Gambian or not? Because I will not talk to you. Even IEC cannot do that. You know, what you can do is call the immigration department and double check. But how about if you find out that I suspect you and I happen to be Gambian, I can sue you for that. What is your, how can you assume? How do I look like different from you that you think you are more Gambian than I am? You know, so.
From your discussion, what do you think the president will take from you?
What he will take from me? He will have to give a stern warning to immigration department to make sure that all people, all Gambians who are living here are very well documented, and talk to foreign nationals that if you're not Gambian, you cannot vote. You wait for your time until you become Gambian. And political leaders should also give warnings to their militias to slow down. Voting day, even voting day, I don't think they should be at these centers. You just have to campaign hard and leave your voters to go and deliver for you. Whoever wins, wins. But assumptions and creating fear in the minds of people or confusion, just that you are preempting trouble or you are foreseeing trouble itself is not right. If government does it, I would be the first one who would be crying dictatorship. I'll call Amnesty International all over, human rights, that here we are in a democracy and the president is sending military and IEC and immigration folks to go and check.
Who do you think should put a stop to this? Because
government.
What we've seen, communities resorting to stopping their people from their registration center. In reference to the recent incident at Kanilai between UDP militants and the citizens of Kanilai, which resulted to some injuries on the side of visitors to UDP.
Really?
Really happened there. So we could see a scenario of community members trying to stop, people from monitoring the voter registration process because they feel no one has the right or the authority to come into their village.
No one has the right to come to my village.
Yes.
You don't even live in my village. How do you know whether we have 1,000 people here or 100, or I'm from Manikunda, you're from Bakunda, or somebody else from Jalakunda? You don't even know. Even government cannot try that with the authorities they have. They cannot try that. Much more. They have the right to go there and campaign though. They should go to Kanilai, campaign that for these coming elections to give their votes to UDP because blah blah blah, give them their reasons. But to walk into registration centers in areas, how can you tell whether a Manga is a Jola or Mandinka or Wolof, or whether it's from Kasama, Senegal, or Gunjur or Fonyi?
In the past few hours, IEC issued a press release to say that no one has a right to prevent anyone from monitoring the process because that is the responsibility of the IEC. Don't you think this is also empowering the people you call militants going around?
Probably what IEC meant was, in as much as I don't like you, we cannot run after you to beat you up because you were there to monitor. You can be asked to leave, or they can discuss. They can discuss and talk about the issue. They have rights to campaign. They have rights to go to any city in the Gambia that they want to go to and talk to their party supporters. What right they don't have is a knowledge. You cannot come to Kanilai and trying to see if I am a Jola from Kuram, Tambui, or Block. You can't. You cannot tell. What are you monitoring there? Do you work for IEC? Do you work for Immigration Department? Before this voter registration, have you tallied? Have you go to village by village to know how many people live in that village? Do you know all of them by names and all of them by Kabilos and everybody's name? Do you know it? So if you don't know it, then you cannot monitor me. If you don't know Manikunda or Bakunda in a certain village, You cannot just walk into that village and say you are monitoring. Who are you monitoring? IEC or the process, the registration process? What are you monitoring there? Because if you walk in, you are from Sonkokunda, you come, who are these UD people to say, oh, he said he's Ibrahim Sonko from Sonkokunda, maybe he's not Gambian. Is that what you call monitoring?
So this situation, don't you think it exposes the lack of proper system in place?
Exactly. It exposes, not necessarily lack of proper system, because I think the IEC have been giving out, information about the process, where they're going, how it should be done. International community, non-profit organizations have been helping them, European Union, UN, I don't know, so on and so forth. They've been getting help from all kinds of organizations so that these processes can go smoothly. And as far as we know, it is going smoothly. What I have a problem with probably is the time, like 1 month or 2 months. I don't think that's enough for a registration process, but even that can be looked into.
Because
okay, if 5 people
yes.
from UDP arrives here today to monitor, and then we have 5 from GDC, we have 5 from NPP, and we have 5 from PDOIS all monitoring. So you come out with your paper, and they're all looking at you. I will look you in the eye, and how are you going to tell? How can you dare tell me, or you're checking if I'm Gambian? Probably I'm more Gambian than you are.
It is already happening, don't you? Would you then say government is tactless in the implementation of the system that should have prevented this scenario?
Not this one. I think the IEC have given information, because that's what I'm trying to say.
But it's not implemented, right?
It is. What I'm trying to say, for example, if government posts 2 military guys at registration centers, 2 IEC folks, 2 immigration folks, immigration in their uniform, military in their uniform, some will have guns. So what are we going to say? We'll be like, oh my God, this is a dictatorship. Barrow is here to intimidate us so that to see who is going to vote or not, or who we are. They are checking us. Oh my God, we've passed that. If they do it, if that is what you call to be tactful, if they do that, we are the same people who are going to come and say, oh, they are introducing dictatorship again.
Because the issue of tactlessness is when people are monitoring the situation and it is bringing a bit of chaos. But
it should be announced in every radio and newspaper. Talk to your party militants, talk to your supporters, sensitize your supporters, tell them to vote for your party. Sensitize them. In the registration process, choose teams to go and talk to anybody they want in any village. What you cannot do is you cannot monitor me. You are not there. You cannot monitor the IEC. It's not your business. How would you know? Even IEC cannot know. If I come with an ID and you're an IEC man or you immigration, you look at me, right there you can't tell. And you never know. You cannot tell.
It still boils down to system issues because you even wrote in your social media that when the coalition failed, the current government, which you are serving right now, stemmed from the coalition 2016. When it failed, you said you don't want to blame Barrow alone because he is not the only man responsible for the failure.
Yes.
What does this mean?
Meaning, let's say, for example, even the coalition is intact as we speak. No system is going to be 100%. They're going to have their challenges. They overtook dictatorship, and we all know the political games that they played. That they came together. They have different ideologies, different leaders, different people, but they swallowed all that and came together as a coalition. But even if that coalition is in place, it's not going to be 100% proof like any system in the world. The coalition can still be there. IEC goes to register, and you have militants coming to tell you, I'm trying to check who's from Gambia or not.
Yeah, because you make a reference that it is the revelation from the TRRC signal the fact that there are a lot of jammers in OST.
Yes.
So is this reflexive of the coalition issue that you really didn't want to blame the president alone?
Yeah. When the coalition disintegrated, I had a heartbreak, broken-hearted, because we worked hard for it, and we know it's not easy. But from the get-go, like all other coalitions around the world, we understand too, it's not easy at all. But yes, after the TRRC, I'm like, for real, I am so disappointed because, Jammeh is not the only, Jammeh did some evil. He was a terrible leader in many aspects. But you and I know after the TRRC that when no one is looking, a Gambian is capable of anything too. You see, so yes, the coalition is not
disintegrated.
So what does Barrow do? Drop it and run?
He fired almost all of them. He fired them out of the government.
Okay, you see, that's where it came wrong since in the beginning. The coalition they're like, how many members, 5 or 6?
Well, 7.
7. If Barrow is going to fire you, all these 6 other members should let him know. Probably he had only 10% of Gambian voters backing him. But still, he is a leader. This is a team. We're doing this in this team. You can't let it happen. There should be team members controlling Barrow. But then they all let you fire Ibrahim. No one says anything. No one says, I'm going to resign if Ibrahim is gone, because we are here as a coalition. Who did they fire first? So they started going around.
Maifati, Minister of Interior, was fired first.
Yes.
OJ followed, yes. Vice President Tambaja.
Yes.
Eventually. So who should have said anything?
All of them. You should have said, this is a coalition, you can't fire me. And the other 6 should say, you cannot fire him. We are a team, and we are here for so and so, and we will have to bear with each other and see, because the Gambian people put us together to do some work for them.
At that time, a government...
But when one is gone, the 6 are, Mai is gone, yes, okay, OJ is gone, Fatmata is gone, and, so when one is left, and that was,
Yeah, at the time also, the president was picking people like your colleagues in the media, the information minister and the second information minister, others as advisors to the minister. So at this point, positions were coming to you. Why didn't you accept it at that time?
I wish I did long time ago. Since I came here in the country, I wish I did, because probably my voice would have counted. But I was thinking we had a group of leaders that we really trusted and we're looking up to. So when it disintegrated, or even before it disintegrated, I wish, that was my regret. I wish I took, I accepted something, from the government, and who knows?
What could you have changed, or what could you have prevented from happening?
The disintegration. The disintegration.
Let us know, how would you have done that?
There are many ways to it, but it should not be that difficult. They are all leaders and luckily they're all working in different departments as ministers. It's not like 6 people work at the Agri Ministry. All of them have different departments. So they could have, be together and try their best to stay together for us, for the Gambia. So
you have hit very hard on the bullying at registration centers, and then you, as an honorary advisor to the president, are you afraid that your honorability will be questioned by the people who are going around the registration center and they feel this is the best way to monitor the process?
No. No Gambian will scare me. Whether it's my position, what I decide to do, who I decide to work with, what I am going to say. I am not going to break any law. I'm not going to insult anybody. I will use my mind to speak on issues that are important to me. So if I go to a registration center, What are they going to do? Look at me and tell me you're American or you're from Guinea? Yeah. No.
You might be saying this because you are in support of Barrow. Would it be seen like that? How will you feel?
If Barrow wins, I'm happy to serve him and I'll talk to him. Whoever comes in after Barrow, I'll tell you the same. The issues that are going on in the registration centers, I will say the same to whatever or whichever presidents come. Whoever comes, if Barrow wins, I'm going to continue to tell him, Barrow, they're stealing in our lands in Salaji. Barrow, they are biased with us. Barrow, there is an environmental decay in our country. Barrow, our women are dying in hospitals. But Barrow, nobody can monitor me at registration centers. That's very unfair, very un-African, very biased, ridiculous.
Wouldn't this be like biting the finger that is feeding you? If you have to say all this.
Then what's my responsibility? This is an honorary job. I'm not paid for it. But even if I'm paid $1 million every month, did you pay me just to put you on my back? You pay me to show you or to tell you my opinion about things. Isn't it that what responsibility is? Or that's what your job description is?
What is your job description?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you're given a job, and you're supposed to come in the morning and do that work. If your boss is telling you, oh, Ibrahima, you know, you cannot, do you have to insult or do something appropriate or keep quiet if something is wrong here, simply because the hand is feeding you? As a human being.
So it has been insinuated that of recent Barrow is tough over the voter registration exercise and the monitoring team simply because it is not going in his favor.
No, I'm not seeing anything that's not going in his favor. But even if it is not going in his favor, he is a president, he has to do the right thing. Even if everybody, 99% of Gambians did not vote for him, he as a president should do the right thing. Guide people, advise people to do the right thing. That is why he is there as president. And I think that's what he's trying to do.
There is some fear that your advice that presidents should open up the citizenship is coming at a very critical time during voter registration process.
There's nothing like a critical time to do the right thing. Even if it is one day before elections. If he signs it into law or sends a bill to parliament, it's never late to do the right thing. If Barrow leaves, somebody comes in the first day, I will tell you, you should consider giving people citizenships. Presidents write bills, they encourage whether it's going to, as long as in their mind they're doing something that's going to help the population, help their country, it doesn't matter. You will have to, whether it's a security bill, elections bill, citizenship, amnesty, it's never late to do the right thing. Of course, people are going to assume and talk about everything. You know, if I'm in America, I'm waiting for my green card, and the president say, oh, I'm going to give green card or citizenship to Africans. Of course, people will think, oh, because of elections. He can lose, but we will be forever grateful that he has given us that chance before he leaves. The timing doesn't matter. And giving citizenships is not automatic. For some, it may be, because they've been here, they all have all their documents, probably, they have IDs, and they have been in the country for the longest time. But for those who are late, it doesn't hurt to initiate it. He has to start it. Whether before December they will have their citizenship or not, it's not the issue. But whether he has consideration for this African national staying in the country, that, you know, I will consider giving them these initiations to start their citizenship process. Those that have been here 10, 15 years, they can automatically get it, probably, if immigration department is fast enough. Those who are not, but let him initiate it. Let us talk about it. Whether he's here December or not, he should be proud that he did that for his fellow Africans who've been feeding him, who've been contributing to the economy. We bring 275 million from the Western economy to here. And these people are creating millions for themselves, for their families, and for the economy. What's the difference?
The largest number of voters card holders in this country was about 800,000 before this year's process. With this general registration 5 weeks on, the number is little above 800,000. Don't you think that the turnout is very low and it's likely not hitting a million? This signals lack of interest or of the Gambians, or otherwise what appears to be very stiff monitoring by parties in the electoral process.
Every day, I think the government should give out information. Nobody should fear to go register if you are a Gambian. Nobody should fear to go to immigration department to say, officer, I've been here 10, 15 years, what do I do so that I can be legally here in this country? People should go to immigration centers to ask and do that. Like anywhere you go, you need information to what do I apply so that I can work? What do I apply so that I can live in this country? All over the world, that's how it's done. If you qualify, they will give it to you. If you have 2, 3 years, they will have to educate you, but they cannot leave you in the corner. They will visit you once in a while in your shop and harass you or mistreat you and your family. I cannot even imagine that. Very unfair,
Do you think Barrow will listen to you tonight on these issues?
He will. Whether he will take action or not is another, he is the president. He can put it, and put it in the trash. It's his prerogative. He just said, Fatu, you want it to be honorary advisor. If you see things, I value your opinion. That's it. But whether it can be implemented, that's left to him. But I think these are one of the issues. And diaspora should vote too.
We were expecting you earlier after your appointment here on iAfrica. What makes up the delay?
I know. Thanks for the invitation. iAfrica, I'm very grateful. I'm very impressed. Seeing young Gambians, young Africans, look at you. Look at how many young people are found here. You're doing things that I cannot imagine how you do it. I'm very impressed and I want to be here. But I don't want to give that. You've been following me for, I don't know. Probably this is a habit. I don't even know. I'm dragging my feet for 2 years, almost 2 years now.
Almost.
Yeah,
So
because if I give my commitment, I would want to
continue coming.
Yes, but I will definitely give it.
We would say that you have started and it will continue, right?
Yes, I will. Well, even if I did not take a program, but probably once in a while, I will definitely come see you guys and talk to you about issues that are going on in the country, giving you my view, honorary view.
You said in one of your posts that the next topic you want to discuss is on the TRRC. Can you hint us what are the subjects that matter most?
Ibrahim, probably when I come here again, we can talk about the TRRC. Yes, I have opinions on that too.
Recommendations are coming very soon, and then your government will really need to be on its toes to implement them. Are you prepared as a government?
I think the government should be prepared. What's the purpose of the TRRC? Did you see the recommendations?
A final document is expected soon.
Okay, let's wait for the final document and see. But in all fairness, why not? They're supposed to do a work and they should do it honorably, professionally, and delivered. So we'll wait and see.
We leave it there, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. I appreciate this, and thank you all very, very, very much. I'm very honored and happy to be here, and I promise I'll be here often from today.
Thank you, viewers. That was my guest, Fatou Jaumane, honorary president, honorary advisor to the president on communication strategist, development and emerging social issues. It has been a pleasure being with you on bullying at electoral centers, voter registration centers in the country after 5 weeks of this session. So 6 more days to go, and those who are yet to get their voters card are highly encouraged to go in for the card as Gambians to prepare for December 4.
True.
Until then, we come your way in another time. Bye-bye for now.